advantage of the BJP at this stage.
Okay. Bhupen, is there anything at this point that indicates that perhaps the BJP might peak a little too soon? Because I know its detractors are saying a lot of things. We heard Jairam Ramesh say that Gujarat shining will fall as badly as India shining. Rahul Gandhi saying that the bubble will burst. Of course, they're saying this for their own reasons. But there are some people who believe that Modi's dictatorial rise and the ticket selection, etc., may put off the average Indian by the time voting takes place. Are you getting a sense that the BJP could be veering towards that?
I've always believed, in all these years of tracking the BJP closely, I've always believed that the BJP's worst enemy is the BJP itself. These stories of infighting, differences are not new in the BJP. They have been there even when Mr. Vajpayee and LK Advani. The two of them were friends, but the two of them were also poles apart. And the two of them were always at loggerheads with each other. I think that kind of a frenemyship, if I was to call it, which existed between LK Advani and Atal Bihari Vajpayee right through the 90s, that seems to have really seeped deep down across all levels of the BJP. You look at what's happening today, for instance. There is this so-called Modi wave, which is sweeping parts of India. If you were to look at key political states of UP and Bihar, I've just returned from UP a couple of days back, and there's a lot of resentment which I picked up from party workers in terms of the tickets which have been given. Many individuals who thought that they could have been the right candidates to perhaps reap in the rich harvest of votes, just riding piggyback on the kind of sentiment which has been created by Mr. Modi. They're all saying that there has been a lot of problem of ticket distribution. Look at what's happening between Uma Bharti and Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Look at the kind of statements which have consistently been made by Sushma Swaraj against her own party leadership. How Rajnath Singh is saying now that all this is just an extended family. All this may be an extended family, but if you continue to be at loggerheads with each other, if you continue to challenge the leadership of the party, ultimately a message is sent to the people that this is a party which is not united. I think one of the fundamental reasons for the BJP's loss, for instance, in 2009 was precisely this, that LK Advani ended up being looked at as a leader who was not in control of his own party. Now, I'm not suggesting that Mr. Modi runs that risk, because Mr. Modi is the other extreme, that he's being considered as an authoritarian or a dictatorial leader. But the problem is that the BJP leadership doesn't look like a house which is united even under Mr. Modi, and that certainly could have bad consequences for the BJP.
Okay, while we talk about all this, the Nifty is almost at 6,700, so another record high is coming, and this would be another milestone for the index, by the way, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Shireen, is that the sense? Shireen,
aren't you getting tired? Sorry, I was saying, aren't you getting tired of saying a new record high? I'm getting tired of asking you that question every afternoon.
Yes, indeed, Shireen. But at the end of the day, the bulls are in complete control, and it's an uncharted territory right now. So every day.
Also, at the end of the day, every time we say the M word, this market is just fixated to move
so
up.
that is why I had this next question to you, Shireen and Bhupen, both. In fact, do you think because of what has happened over the last 7 to 10 days or so, has there been a bit of a dent in momentum which could ultimately mean the difference between 220 and say 180, and that's really could be a big factor for the stock markets? 6,700 on the Nifty, as I just said.
Well, let me start by saying that I don't believe that there is anything to indicate that there has been any significant shift away from the BJP or any significant dent to the momentum behind Narendra Modi and the BJP's campaign at this point in time. What I will point out to is that the degree of confidence within the Congress party, at least publicly, whether you heard from Rahul Gandhi the day that the Congress manifesto was released, you heard Sonia Gandhi, or yesterday in that Google Hangout that we did with Jairam Ramesh, going back, and the same message seems to be sent out by the top leaders of the Congress party, that this is going to be a surprise, it's going to be a shock, it's going to be something that will take us right back to the experience in 2004 where the BJP was on a high. Everyone assumed that they were going to come to power. India shining was everywhere, and look what happened. That has been a consistent message, especially over this past week, that is being coming in from every top Congress leader that we've been speaking to. The point is that things are very different from 2004. I mean, polls can get it wrong and so on and so forth, but things are different this time around. And when we argue with Congress leadership about the fact that if it was this case, if rural India in that sense was happy with the Congress's performance, was happy with the schemes that the Congress leadership across different states had given out, then why would you see the kind of results that you saw in states like Rajasthan? And that, I think, then you get the obvious rebuttal that it's different for the assembly elections, it's different for the Lok Sabha or the national elections. But and that's the one thing that I believe differentiates the 2004 experience from the 2014 experience. But let me also ask Bhupen, what do you make of this business of Jairam, Rahul, Sonia Gandhi all saying that we are going to see a repeat of 2004?
Well, if Rahul Gandhi would have been saying this, say, over the last 1 year or 2 years, maybe we would have looked at it differently. Now for Rahul Gandhi and Congress leaders in the month of March and April to suddenly think about 2002 and start looking at Mr. Modi not being a clean politician is a bit too late in the day. But let me just slightly disagree with you with what you're suggesting, Shireen. What is happening is that in the key political state of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, let's be clear, Anuj was saying difference between 220 and 180. The difference between 220 and 180 is only going to be determined by these two states. If the BJP does well in these two states, the BJP could very well be around that figure that Anuj is talking about. If the BJP doesn't do well, then you don't know, then you're in that 150, 160 range. I think, and this is just, again, anecdotal evidence, stuff which I'm picking up from my travels across the states of UP and Bihar, I think that the BJP has got its ticket distribution slightly wrong when it comes to eastern Uttar Pradesh. 28 seats here, 24 out of these 28 seats were with the BJP when the BJP got a high of 58 seats way back in 98-99. If the BJP has to come up with that figure of 41 to 49, which has been suggested even in our previous election tracker, let me point out next week we're coming up with another election tracker and hopefully it will be able to solve this mystery in terms of how many seats and what is the voting percentage really that the BJP could be getting in the political states of UP and Bihar. I think that is where the BJP runs the risk of getting its game slightly wrong. Okay. If the seat distribution, the ticket distribution ends up being bad in eastern UP, then I think the BJP is not going to be in a position to cross that figure of 25 to 30, which even then, even that figure of 25 to 30, all easy for us journalists to say that BJP is only going to be restricted to 30, but the fact is it would be up from present 10 seats. So a jump of 20 seats is going to be huge for the BJP. Eastern UP, that's the place to watch out for.
Okay, Bhupen, one final question from my end then. Were you surprised by the change of strategy from Narendra Modi on Arvind Kejriwal? Since till now he was avoiding any kind of direct mention, but over the last couple of days he has at least recognized him and has made some statements. What do you think would have led to that policy shift?
I missed your question. There was a slight audio problem. Anuj, could you just repeat that?
I was saying till now, Narendra Modi was avoiding any kind of reference to Arvind Kejriwal. But for last couple of days, we have seen some reference to that. What would have led to that policy change?
Well, what was happening was that since Mr. Kejriwal now is a candidate officially from Varanasi, and he has been talking about issues which are related to the policies which have been followed by the Gujarat government. Mr. Modi hasn't given any answer on that. The reason why he thought that he would ultimately think in terms of responding to Mr. Kejriwal, and look at even the response which he gave about Mr. Kejriwal, I mean, it shows just how seriously Mr. Modi takes him. He has responded to Mr. Kejriwal, but even through that response, he is suggesting that he doesn't believe that Mr. Kejriwal is a serious politician, that he is just a Johnny-come-lately who's just come up with a new party and therefore is in the habit of making all kinds of allegations. What did he use? He said AK-49.
AK-49.
AK-49. So, I mean, there you have it. I mean, was he really being serious in his response?
I thought that was a clever one, though, I have to say. I mean, we'll get flack for saying that, but I thought that was clever.
Okay, what did we say? AK Anthony, AK-47 and AK-49. Okay guys, thanks for joining us and giving us all those views. Thanks Shireen and thank you Bhupen as well. We'll see you again next Friday and continue our discussion over there.